Welcome to part 3 of our 3-part series, Power, Accuracy, Speed. This is Speed. I am Kalani. All right, so everybody seems to want to play faster for the most part. I think, playing faster is fine as long as you're not sacrificing your tones and the music and everything is sounding good. So let's look at some ways you can increase your speed both in bursts and over longer periods of time. So speed is a combination of strength and accuracy, really, right? It's about having the muscle control, having the endurance potential, the conditioning, and then having the efficiency of movement, which means technique, right? Our percussive stroke, our tones. So once we've got those things in place, we can move to play faster. And the way we do that is we move efficiently, which hopefully if you've been practicing your techniques well, you can already do. And then the other key component, the new thing we're going to talk about in this part is staying relaxed. Like I said at the very beginning, speed relates to conditioning, so hopefully, all these things will come into play for you, and you'll be able to, as you exercise and as you practice this, your speed will automatically increase. But one of the things that is the enemy of speed is tension. So we're going to work on how to reduce that when you do start playing faster. But let's focus right now on one of the areas that we can identify when we talk about playing faster. And I think there's two main areas, right? One is playing figures, or we'll just call them bursts of speed. And the other area is just simply playing faster, like playing rhythms faster, where you're sustaining a faster tempo or faster movements. And those can be rolls that we use in soloing, for example, and those could be just strung together figures where you're sustaining faster play for a greater period of time. All right, so one of the stepping stones to that would be to incorporate figures that help your playing sound faster, but where you're not actually having to sustain a faster rate of play for a long period of time. So for that, let's look at some rudimentary figures called roughs and rolls. A rough is a short set of notes, usually maybe 3 to 5, that you can play, and it just, puts a lot of notes in a short period of time. One of the things that I do often is I'll use the hand fingers technique, especially on congas. I'll use the hand fingers, which is that movement, right? And I'll surround it by 2 single strokes with the other hand. So that's a 4-stroke, a 4-stroke rough. 1, 2, 3, 4, and usually the accented note or the final note would be on the beat. So like digga-da-da, 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 right? 1, 2, 3, 4 is on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's one way you can do that. You can also do single strokes. So just alternating. So either way, single, double, single. Or single, 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 single. So if we incorporate those in playing, let's say you're doing marcha. Something like that. It gives you a little burst of speed in what would otherwise be just a normal tempo rhythm. All right, so it's hinting at playing fast, but actually I'm not having to do anything very fancy. If I'm doing single strokes, they're just very quick. So if I practice my double, So you can practice your double strokes this way. Or double hand fingers. Right? So then that becomes and then more advanced, and I'm not an expert in this, there are a lot of players that can do this better than I can, which is practicing your open tones, double open tone. Right, and then you can use those inside roughs and rolls, 3 strokes, 4 strokes, 5 strokes. That's a 5-stroke. The other one was a 6-stroke. Okay, so those are little bursts, and to practice those, just practice them like I'm, play them slowly and then speed them up. But always stay relaxed. If you feel yourself tightening up, take a break, go back to the very first thing we talked about in this whole series, which is just stretching, staying loose. All right, so stretch out if you start to feel tight. Okay, the other thing is the longer rolls, longer, playing faster for longer periods of time. There's no shortcuts to this, but you can do it. So you're just going to do a roll, and let's do this together. If wherever you are, you can do this on a, pillow or a tabletop, doesn't matter, do it on your lap. Let's just go ahead and play a roll, which is single strokes, back and forth, and we're going to do it. You can do it at my tempo, or you can do it at your own tempo. Just do it as, let's say go to like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 speed for you. So not your fastest, but somewhere near the top, 75%. All right, so let's try that for about 20 seconds. Ready, go. Okay, so that wasn't that long, and I was already starting to feel it a little, and what I mean by feel it, I mean it was feeling not as smooth, starts to feel not as smooth. And you'll notice that when you start doing this, especially you beginners, this will start to happen, okay? You'll go, and you'll start, like one hand will be uneven, it'll go slower than the other one, and then you'll be going together. And that's normal, that's typical. So what do? Here's what you're going to do, and I can't give you any specific numbers for this because we're all at different points, but what you're going to do is try to do, this is like interval training, right? You're going to do, let's say 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds, on and then take a rest, and then on and then take a rest, and just try to go about 70%, 80%. You can't go 100% for 30 seconds probably at this point. That's what we're working towards. So find your baseline, find where you can go about 75% to your top speed, try it for 20 or 30 seconds, whatever works for you, and then just repeat that. And that's conditioning. That's going to help you with your overall speed. But the key is you need to do it and stay relaxed. So if you're doing that and you're getting tight and you're really feeling tight, then you need to back down a little bit. You need to back off a little bit because I don't want you practicing being tight. Does that make sense? I want you to practice playing and stay relaxed. And then if you start tightening up, you can try this, and that is to what I just call breathe into the tightness, breathe into the muscles, and you might be able to relax while you keep playing. And I want you to find that zone. I want you to find the place where you can play a roll and you're checking in, right? And you probably feel it in the forearms first. You maybe shoulders, but most people feel it in the forearms. That's where I get tight if I start getting tight. And what you want to do is just go and see if when you start feeling the tension, you can actually relax. Like that takes focus, right? So you're not focusing so much on the roll at that point. You're focusing on the muscle tension. And see if you can keep that relaxed. It starts to get tight and you're like, okay, relax. Try to find a way to relax. And you might need to slow down a little. You might need to, of course, reduce your power, right? So going from to, that's okay, because we're working on speed. And like I said, power, accuracy, speed, these are all related. So you may not be able to play at full speed, with full power, with complete accuracy, right? That's our goal. But can you do one of those, right? Yeah, you could do full power, but maybe accuracy and speed fall away. Or you can do full speed, but it's going to be it's going to be really soft and who knows what it's going to sound like. Then you try to do two of those, right? So then you've got power and accuracy, but speed is going to be slower. Or you've got power and speed, but accuracy is going to be lower, right? You get what I'm saying? So practice one at a time, practice two at a time, two together, and then go for all three. But never sacrifice accuracy for speed. That's what we don't want to do. Because then if you start playing, let's go back to like our mambo or marcha rhythm. Right? If we need to go really fast, I still need to have my tones there. So if it starts sounding all the same, then I'm not doing the job, right? As a musician, I'm not providing the product that I need to provide. It starts to suffer, all right? So let's review speed. We talked about doing bursts, so using figures like roughs and short rolls, putting them in your playing and working on that as a way to add some speed elements without having to do extended playing. And you can do that with double strokes, like hand finger, or single strokes. And you can chain these together, to produce something that sounds pretty fast. But actually, I'm not like when I did that, I did a series of 4-stroke roughs, right? But that's different than going, which is sustained speed. All right, so we have those bursts. Then we had sustained speed and practicing doing a roll for 20, 30 seconds. See if you can work up to a minute. If you can get up to a minute where you're doing like 70, 80% of your capacity, you're going to see an improvement over time. But this is an exercise. Remember, don't try it and then you can't do it, and then you say to yourself, "Oh, I can't do it." Well, lower the bar a little and do what you can do, and do it until you can do it well, and then raise the bar. It takes time. It takes practice. This is an investment in your playing, and you've got to pay to get the investment, right? You got to put in the time. That's your capital right now, time and attention. And hopefully down the road, the payoff will be improved technique and abilities. All right? So this is for patrons only. I really appreciate you being a supporter of World Drum Club. I'm going to be doing some patron-only lessons once a month, every month from now on. Most of the YouTube stuff will be kind of, not as heavy, not as instructional. It's just going to be more information or showing different instruments and that kind of thing. So tell your friends if they're serious about developing themselves as musicians and they want some semi-private coaching like we're having here. Please become a supporter, because the more patrons we have in our team in the World Drum Club community, the more I can do. And that's good for everybody, right? All right, thanks for watching. Leave me your questions and comments, and I'll see you in future lessons.